Alright everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to ride to Ormond Lookout Point. It's quite a famous lookout point, pretty close to the city, gives you a nice view of the city as well. And it's kind of close to St Kilda, so we'll ride through Prahan, go to St Kilda and then check it out. And then we're going to ride to Elwood skatepark after and take a look at that as well. And today's topic is going to be how not to get your bike stolen. So yeah, recently I got a little tracker from bikebac. They sent me a tracker to try out, and I thought it also is a good idea kind of just to talk about all the things that I keep in mind, or that I got tips in the past on how to keep my bike safe. And I think sharing that information with you guys will hopefully help someone out there. So yeah, more on that later. Here we're just riding in Ormond, and we're riding towards Chapel Street in Prahan. We gotta watch out for that car there. Basically, Prahan is the next suburb over. Well, it goes South Yarra, then Prahan, and Chapel Street is one of the busiest streets in Melbourne that I think. It's kind of like I said before, kind of like the Soho of Melbourne. A lot of kind of like designer stores, mainstream stores. They do have some boutique stores here and there, but yeah, a lot of people like to go there to shop. And yeah, it can get pretty busy there, but yeah, it'll be good to ride through just to check it out. And today is it's getting a lot nicer in Melbourne now. You can see blue skies and it's getting warmer, so it's around 14 degrees low today with 19 degrees high, which I feel like is going to get quite warm. I feel like right now it's probably around midday maybe. Just you can kind of tell from the shadows, probably a little bit earlier than midday. But yeah, around there you can see a lot of people are out, probably out on their lunch break, and yeah, just doing their normal businessy type of stuff. And here we're just crossing the bridge. So yeah, crossing the Yarra River here. That's gonna separate Ormond from South Yarra. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be this busy today, but yeah, probably a nice day, everyone's out. So yeah, today we're going to get straight into it. So I gotta say, if someone wants to really steal your bike, they're going to steal it, so gotta give that disclaimer up. But what we can do is just basically just make it as hard as possible to steal. The more kind of steps and processes and protection that you have to make your bike harder to steal, the more less likely is a thief is gonna be bothered doing it. Usually the people stealing the bikes, unless they're pro, they're just trying to make a quick buck and they're trying to do it quickly. So if it takes heaps of effort, and it takes more effort than what they're gonna get for the bike, then they're probably not gonna do it. So the first thing we got to talk about is definitely the type of lock you should get to lock up your bike. A lot of people ask me this as well, and they're always unsure about what lock to get. And I think the reason that is because there are so many locks that are available out there that it can be kind of confusing to know what to get. So first got to talk about what not to get, and that's got to be cable locks. You can also see we're just heading into Chapel Street now. This is kind of like the shopping area. So yeah, first up is cable locks, and cable locks are just no good. I'm sorry if you have one, but they're really more of a deterrent rather than anything else. And I would say if you have a cable lock on your bike and that's all you have, that's probably just a number one target. I know some people use cable locks as additional to another lock, and that could be useful sometimes, but personally I would never really spend money on one just to use it by itself. And it doesn't really matter what lock you have on the end of the cable lock. You might have a normal key lock, you might have a tumbler lock, you might have a combination lock. I think really, since they're going to be cutting the cable anyway, the lock doesn't really matter. So first, stay away from those. Second, it's got to be those super thin chain locks. Usually they're quite common and you can see them. They come with a combination lock at the end, and they're usually wrapped with a little clear bit of plastic. Those are just basically an accessory. They will just snap straight off. I've definitely broken ones like those in the past, and those are not worth getting. And then the next one to stay away from, in my opinion, is folding locks. There are folding locks which are made of hardened steel and high quality, but I would say generally, 90% of the folding locks that you see out there are generally not as good. They can easily break, and they have all the joints become exposed, so they can be prone to attacks as well. I'm sure someone will say they have a folding lock and they use it all the time and it's fine, but this is more for general purposes, so hopefully that makes sense. Alright, so we talked about which locks to avoid, and now we get to which locks are good. So my number one recommendation has got to be the D-lock. I think this is the best bang for buck lock that you can get, and it's also, I'd say, the most secure across the board of D-locks that are made. Even if you get a cheaper D-lock, it's still going to be more secure than a cable lock. And having them being pretty secure across the board, it's also a great deterrent, because when a thief sees a D-lock, they know that basically the only way they can do it is really just to get an angle grinder and cut it. They can also, pick the lock, of course, but that takes a little bit more skill. If you're looking for a high quality D-lock, you can look for these couple of things. One, I look for kind of just the thickness of the D-lock itself, and also if it's hardened steel, obviously the thicker and the more protection the metal has, the stronger it will be, and it'll be harder for the thief to cut it. And then the other thing is having a disc detainer lock. That lock is usually a little bit harder to pick, and that will kind of slow down the thief as well. Another lock that is good is the lock picking lawyer special. So if you watch his videos, you'll know, but basically he uses a thick chain lock, a Kryptonite Evolution Series 4, I think, and basically any thick chain lock with metal protection, like anti-grind protection, and also being pretty thick, that will kind of do the same type of deal. Again, it will probably come with a disc detainer lock on the end like the Kryptonite does. But yeah, any thick chain lock is also good. Personally, I like the D-lock better because D-lock for me, it's a little bit easier to lock up and put in your backpack, and it's a little bit less heavy. So just for convenience wise, I like the D-lock for that, but got to give the chain lock a special mention as well. If you're looking for a recommendation on a D-lock, I use the Kryptonite Evolution D-locks. I think I have like a Mini 7, and I also have another one which is like longer. But yeah, those are the ones I use, and they've been pretty good so far. And yeah, obviously not sponsored either, so yeah, just I usually just say what I think anyway. Alright, next thing I gotta mention is 2 locks are better than 1. It's a bit of a no-brainer, and I know the average person will probably just carry a single lock, but if you really don't want your bike to be stolen, a good deterrent is carrying 2 D-locks, one for your frame, one for your wheel. Some people might carry 3, but I feel like that's kind of overkill. You can also combine a D-lock with a cable lock, and that should also be enough of a deterrent. But yeah, I just want to mention, if you have a really expensive bike and you need to lock it up for a bit, yeah, 2 locks are better than 1. So next up is how to lock your bike. I feel like this is, once again, this might be obvious because I've been locking up for a while, but for the people that haven't been locking up for a long time, what you want to do is make sure you lock up your frame. I've seen so many bikes just being locked either by the wheel or even just locked by the handlebar or the seat posts, and then sometimes you see on the street that's the only thing that's left attached to the lock when they go back, and yeah, you don't want to do that. So if you're locking up, lock up with your frame. Another tip is so you got a D-lock, locked up your frame, you got maybe a cable lock or a second D-lock locked up your wheel. Another tip is just to add an extra layer is if you're wearing a helmet, just clip your helmet around the wheel or around something that is gonna create an extra step for the thief. And yeah, every step counts. I've also, you guys will probably laugh, but I've unhooked my chain before when I've locked up, just to create a extra layer so they can't ride away with my bike. I know there's different brands also that make pedals that are detachable. MKS makes pedals that are detachable. People take their pedals off when they lock up. There's also people with quick release seat posts. They take their seat post with them, a seat post and saddle with them when they lock up. I know, sometimes it can be a bit of a hassle to do that kind of stuff, but if you're locking up for a longer time, that will definitely help deter. A funny thing that me and my friends just talked about when we rode fixed gears, because we rode brakeless, was if someone stole our bike or was trying to steal our bike and they were trying to get away and we're running after them, they wouldn't know how to brake because there's no brakes on the bike. So yeah, I guess another tip is you can also unhook your brakes from your bike if you're keen. Alright, so the next thing is we talked about locks, we talked about how to kind of lock it up to the thing and what all the different steps you can use to make it harder for the thief. The next thing really is what you're locking your bike to. So if you're locking it to like a tree branch or something and the tree branch is thin, obviously it's not going to be good. What you want to do is, where possible, you can lock it to a bike stand or a street sign, something that's metal, something that can't be pulled out. Some street signs you can actually pull out, and also some bike stands, what they do is they cut a thin line or they cut a section out of the bike stand, and then they'll put like a sticker over it or tape around it, or they'll undo the bolts from the bike stand itself. So yeah, all these things when you're locking up your bike, I always check, give the thing you're locking to a shake, make sure that it's bolted down, make sure you can't lift it up yourself. It only takes a quick second to do this, and it's definitely going to help you keep your bike. You can just see here that we've pulled up into St Kilda and close to the waterfront. Just want to show you guys Luna Park. Luna Park's there with that big face. It's kind of like a theme park they go into. There's a roller coaster and stuff in there, but yeah, it's not super big, but it's big enough. And yeah, you can see such a beautiful day today. We're almost at the beach. As we're closer to the beach, it is a little bit cooler, maybe like a few degrees cooler, but yeah, such a nice day out that you don't really feel it at all. It feels pretty fresh. But yeah, you can see St Kilda Beach to the lookout. So we talked about what to lock your bike to and making sure it's secure and it's not shaky, there's no bolts missing or anything like that. Yeah, you don't think people would do that, but I've definitely locked up my bike before and noticed there was missing bolts and stuff, and then yeah, the next day the whole bike rack was gone. So yeah, just be careful of that. The next thing is where you lock up your bike. So locking up where there's a lot of people usually is better because it's more busy, and if someone sees a thief, break into a bike, they're more likely to get caught. So yeah, somewhere with high foot traffic is usually better. I definitely wouldn't recommend locking it somewhere where it's dark. If you're locking up at night, somewhere where it's well lit as well. If you're locking near a shopping mall or a shopping center or getting groceries or somewhere, you can also look for cameras. Sometimes they have security cameras pointing a certain direction, so if you lock up where there's a security camera pointing, it's going to help you or help deter the thief as well. Most centres where they put their bike racks will have cameras facing them, so that's good to know as well. Another tip is, after you've locked up your bike and you've kind of like sussed out the area, make sure it's kind of safe. Another tip that's good to do is kind of lock your bike and then walk away from it, and then when you're off in a distance, just go back and just take a look at it to make sure no one was kind of looking to steal your bike or was kind of stalking you. Sometimes I'll even lock up to a spot where you can see from where you see your bike from a building window, or you can see it from a shop window, or across the road or something. That way you can always keep an eye on it here and there, and that's always good. There's a few more tips later on, but I just wanted to show you this. You alright?
Let me get some tissues.
Do you have to call hospital or anything?
I just fell in.
You just fell? Oh, good. Alright.
Can we help with anything else?
No, I'm right.
Yeah.
You just collapsed. I think you were trying to grab that. Then they just.
Did you notify someone in your family?
No, I'm right.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
You far from home?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm gonna be alright.
Okay. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. The guy basically went to grab like just one of those green posts that was standing up, and he kind of just slipped and fell. But when I rode up, he had a big kind of gash on his forehead and was bleeding. And then me and the other runner, we made sure he was all right, and he had the other biker helping him. And the other guy went and grabbed like tissues and stuff for his bleeding, but yeah, he seemed alright. We made sure, double check to make sure he was alright, if there's anything we could do. But yeah, I think he probably was just probably slipped and hit his head, but yeah, he ended up seeing alright. And I figured with kind of like the two other people, it should be all good. But yeah, sometimes when those things happen, you want to help, and you kind of make sure he's alright. But yeah, it seemed like the other two people had it under control. You can see basically we've been riding along the beach, and I forgot to mention I went past St Kilda skatepark, and yeah, there was absolutely no one there. So if you want to go there for a skate, it's you got the park all to yourself. Here is the lookout. You can see the white little sculpture at the end. This is called Ormond Lookout, and yeah, it's on top of a hill. It's pretty nice up here. You can see there's not a lot of people out, but you get a great view from almost like a 360-degree view of the ocean. And then you can see towards the city back here, there's a nice path along as well, and it's separated. There's a cycling path as well as a walking footpath, so yeah, you're not getting in anyone's way or anything like that. But yeah, it's quite a sight, and it's quite cool. There's also a playground near there. If you have kids, it's good to take them there. And yeah, you can see a lot of cyclists making use of the cycle path right there. I was only here for like I don't know, not that long, but there's so many people whizzing past. It's pretty cool to see if you want to kind of just like sit down and chill out. A lot of different type of riders as well. Pretty cool. And here's the rig, looking pretty good. I don't think I showed it yet, but I switched out the rear tire for the Holy Roller, and yeah, it's gone pretty good. I'll do a full bike check at the end, but it got me here, no issues. Felt a little bit smoother. I think not too much different, but yeah, just got my skateboard and backpack and my lock and my jumper and my GoPro and stuff in there. It's good to be able to have something big that you can kind of just chuck everything and not worry about it. Still got the knobby up front, so kind of like a slope style setup, and then got the little track on there. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, Holy Roller's going good, and then the GPX is going good too. But yeah, made it pretty far, and looks pretty sweet in the sun. Pretty happy with it. Yeah, and there's the skyline again, and also that's where St Kilda Skatepark is. Right now I'm going to ride over to the other little end there, right here. And I lost the footage to it, so we're actually going to teleport there. So yeah, 3, 2, 1. Alright, we're here. So just rode a little bit just to the other pier just to check it out. And you can see, yeah, super serene here, super peaceful. I think this is called Elwood Beach on the right. But yeah, if you don't want to go to St Kilda where there's tons of people, this one usually is a little bit more quiet. So it's a good little spot if you just want to chill out and don't want to be around too many people. You can see the lookout point right there. That's where we were. So yeah, I didn't ride too far. So yeah, basically my battery ran out, but I was able to work out how to connect a different power source to it, a portable power source. So yeah, pretty stoked on that because now I can film for ages, hopefully. But yeah, we're gonna ride to Elwood Skatepark now, and I'm gonna keep talking about the tips. So I mentioned keeping an eye on it once you kind of lock it up. The other thing I forget to mention was make sure you take off kind of like all the accessories and all the bags and all the stuff where possible, because that will attract thieves as well, making your bike an easy target. And then the other thing is time, how long you lock it up for. So obviously the shorter amount of time the better, and the longer time you lock it up, make sure the more locks you have. If you are leaving your bike unattended, like you just want to run to the store, I'd recommend definitely don't do that without locking it up. Always keep it in your sight. I think like I've heard a few people, they just like went into a store for 5 minutes or a shop for 5 minutes just to grab something, and they think it will be alright, but yeah, they come out and their bike is gone. So yeah, don't leave that up to chance. Most places you can also take your bike in. Like I remember taking my bike into a bank before, or the post office. Usually people don't mind, just take it in with you, and that's safer than leaving it outside. And then the last thing is locking your bike up at home. Obviously if you can keep it inside the better, but the same thing applies. Take off all the accessories, take off everything that you can, and lock it up where it's kind of out of sight, where no one can see it. Make sure you chuck a few locks on as well, and if you can also put a cover on it. That helps people stop passers-by from kind of like peeking inside as well. There's also registration websites, so you can register your bike in case it does get stolen. They can easily look it up. I know some people also engrave their bikes on the bottom back bracket or stuff like that, making it harder to resell. Make sure you take photos of your bike here and there. That will help you prove that it's your bike and the current state's in. Also another thing, if the more you customize your bike, or if you chuck like tons of stickers on your bike becomes more unique and it becomes harder to sell for the thief. Just imagine them taking off like tons of stickers, and if it's customized then it's more recognizable as yours. People will be able to recognize it easier. Alright, we're here just about at the skate park. We just rode through Elwood Park, and yeah, here is the skate park. It's an older style skate park. I don't think they ever redone it at any point, but they always repaint it if it gets graffiti on there. You can see the blue paint on there, but it's an older style park. It started with those two big bowls, I think. I don't know too much about the history, but it looks like it's been here for a while. And you can see they got the big ramps down here. They got a flat bar, a hidden flat bar at the bottom. They got some down ledges, all kind of like that angle iron on the edge, and then another ramp there with the blue paint. Before, the first time I skated this, I found the paint really slippery, but over the time I got used to it, and it's not really a big deal anymore. But if you're coming here for the first time, you might find it a little bit slippery, so beware. And then you can see these are the two older style bowls, I think kind of like a 12-foot there, and then the other one's like an 8-foot or 6-foot. And then they got a little fun box in the middle with a small ledge. Here's the other bowl, the smaller one, slightly smaller. I think it's still taller than me, but I'll show you. I'll scale it for size, but you can see they got the old coping on there, and I think sometimes they just paint over the top. Here's the ground. They have rough bits and also smoother bits. So yeah, you can take your pick. It's a little bit of both. This down section, or the small section, is way smoother, but it does have this tree right next to it that has all these little nuts or whatever that fall off it, and it makes it super annoying to skate, or you can trip up on it. So yeah, just be careful of that. And then yeah, you can see where I just put the bike. There was no one here today again, so yeah, these little things that come off the tree, sometimes you gotta like sweep it up. And then here's the bowl. So yeah, probably like a 4-foot bowl, I think, 4 or 5 foot bowl. But the side walls are really steep, but I just wanted to have a little roll just so you guys could see what it's like for scale. And then here's the bigger one. The big one's taller than me, so it's got to be at least 8 foot, I think. But yeah, the side walls are steep and the paint is a little bit slippery, but obviously someone that can skate bowl will probably love it. But yeah, I hardly see it being skated when I come here. Usually it's just little kids riding around. And then yeah, I ended up having just a little skate. Yeah, nothing too crazy, just a little sesh. If you saw my reel, you probably saw that I installed the bikebac tracker as well. Pretty easy to install and has security screws as well, so hard to get off. And that was going to be just my last tip. Install a tracker for your bike. That just gives you a little bit extra protection, a little peace of mind. If you do end up losing your bike, you can hopefully track it down a bit better. And if you have a GPS sticker on there, it will deter thieves if they see it before they steal your bike. If you're looking for one, I do have a 10% off coupon code as well as a referral link. So yeah, we can help each other out. But yeah, here's the rig. Rig's gone pretty strong, riding really well. I'm pretty happy with the upgrades I made with the crank and the rear mech, made it a bit lighter. Here you can see I'm running the Stritzlin bars and the Vans grips. Got the Avid 2.0 brake levers with the Suntour friction shifter. No problems there so far. And here's the tracker. I might move it to a more hidden spot later. But yeah, here I just want to show you the belt system. A lot of people ask about it, but I realize I never show it in action, so hopefully that satisfies a few people. Yeah, it feels pretty good, almost like direct steering. And then here, Maxxis Minion 2.4 on the front. Got the Stritzlin chainring on the front as well, 38T Melbourne cranks and crank stamp pedals. These are the magnesium ones, feeling pretty light, 175 on cranks. And then these are Avid Mountain BBDB brakes. I think these are the old school ones, so there's really no number. And then Garys Cargo Project, pretty cool there. He got the Suntour GPX short cage, and the Maxxis Holy Roller running pretty sweet. It went pretty well today. I'm pretty happy with it. It's still super grippy on the pavement, and you also get a bit of clearance on the 2.4 as well, which is pretty nice. Still a bit of room there. And got the turbo saddle, of course, my favorite. Got a little drip of eucalyptus on there, I think, but you can just scratch it off. Usually the leather's pretty good. And yeah, that's basically it. That's the rig, running real strong. Big shout out to Aaron JC and Robert F for your donations. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It helps a lot. And yeah, thanks everyone else for watching. If you guys have any tips on how to keep your bike safe or not to get it stolen, put it down below or help other people out. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Hopefully you learned a few things too. That was helpful. And as always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.